Okay. Hi. Welcome. Jared dreams of Hacker Valhalla. My mic's on? Okay, cool. Today, I want to build something. I built a few web crawlers on these streams, but today I'm actually building a web crawler with a purpose. Well, first, this is my first time using Bun. I've been working with Node for a very long time. I set up this Bun package because I need to build a web crawler for a data set I need to get. And let me first talk about actually let me talk about an overview of Bun. Actually, let's talk about that first. Talk about Bun. Bun's cool because it's new, and new things are cool. It's the only reason. There's nothing actually useful about it. No, I'm kidding. So let's talk about. I've been ignoring most JavaScript runtimes, mostly because it's like, okay, every time another one comes out, I'm like, so I'm just gonna use a whole new thing when this is already working fine. I feel like most optimizations in Node can be solved by literally just using a better fucking language. I'm kidding. No, there is a lot of value in Bun here. Well, first of all, if you don't know they actually say, I was going to say what a runtime is. They actually have it in the docs. Nice. I'll agree with what they say. Okay. JavaScript is just a specification for a programming language. So JavaScript is a programming language. This is what they're writing here. So this might be completely inaccurate, and I'm about to deceive one guy, a ton of people. How many people are here? All right. So anyone can write a JavaScript engine that ingests a valid JavaScript program and executes it. The two most popular engines in use today are V8, JavaScript Core. V8 is the Google JavaScript engine. When they're saying engine, they really just see that as that's what's used to compile and run JavaScript, compile and execute JavaScript. That's it. See it as this is how you're actually translating this to the machine code that needs to execute. That's what they mean. Well, they're talking about V8 and all that. So there's the language, which is it's the protocol. It's how things are done, and I can write down all the rules in a notebook of what JavaScript is, but it doesn't mean anything if I don't have some way of compiling it, right? So the compiler, the V8 and the JavaScript core ones are the main ones, and they're both open source. So little background, node.js has been probably the main JavaScript runtime outside of the browser since for the past 10 or so years, 10, 12 years. And what I mean by runtime, well, I guess they're going to fucking say it here. They say, but most JavaScript programs don't run in a vacuum. They need a way to access the outside world to perform useful tasks. This is where runtimes come in. They implement additional APIs that are made available to the JavaScript programs they execute. So whenever people say runtime, see it as an environment. Really, what a runtime is, the best way to explain it is it's an interpreter with a lot of useful APIs, and it allows you to it'll allow you to, as during the running, so during the execution, do more stuff. So typically when you're coding C, you just write out the code, and then you compile, and then you just have a binary and you run it. Most people, you're not used to that. If you're a JavaScript coder, right? You're not used to it exists in a way that it's executing in the browser, and then new things start to happen, right? So that's also why it's single threaded and async, because the browser is very there's a lot of You don't see the async part. It's very like task based, very event based. So that's a little bit about runtimes here. Okay. And by the way, the V8 engine is important because Node.js started with the V8 engine, quote unquote, quote unquote. It didn't create it, by the way. I want to be very clear. It wasn't created with the V8 engine in mind. Let me be very clear about that. I mean, the V8 engine wasn't created for the Node.js, but part of why V8 engine got really big is because you could finally run JavaScript anywhere. So that's a big reason why. Sorry, I'm going to this Discord real quick. That's a big reason why this was a big deal. Okay, let the boys know. Because Node could just run anywhere, similar to how Python can run anywhere, if you catch my drift. Because before you would just write JavaScript in the browser. Okay, so Node was a big deal because it turns out everyone builds for web browsers at the end of the day. So JavaScript, you will love it or hate it, it's kind of the most important language. That and C. JavaScript and C are the two most important languages. That's true. You can say what you want, but that's fucking true. Python is very close second. All right. So Bun is fantastic. Solotro, I've been so this is my first time really using it, but yesterday I was playing around with it and learning about it, and I'm like, this is pretty cool. And actually, I'm going to talk about a few of the features that I like. Do they have like a list of them? Yeah, it looks like they have a list of their design goals here. So speed. So it's fast. It's a big. I want to go through like why it's fast. I want to go through some of their docs. But yeah, they have built-in TypeScript and JSX support, which is cool. I care more about the JSX. I don't use TypeScript because I'm not a fool. Didn't expect this from Jared. Well, this is going to be a fun stream. Oh yeah, this is going to be a good one. I did a web crawler recently, but now I have a real reason. After I talk about Bun, I'm going to talk about why I'm making a web crawler right now. I'm building a data set. You're going to like it. Turns out I'm building a project that involves scraping. Nice. Cool. So the Twitter scraping, nice. ESM common JS compatibility. So here's a little thing. Now, if anyone does a lot of Node.js, you know that you can't really do this out of the box. The common JS, the Node module, or the JavaScript module way of writing is not exactly very coherent the way it was set up. It was like you do with module exports typically, but you can in Node.js, but you can do things in terms of like making something a module in your package JSON, which I want to see if they have a default. Yeah, type module. Looks like it's default here. And the problem is you have two different specifications interacting with each other because people want to do both fucking things, right? But the new thing is the thing that's like actually like the modules are the things that actually is used. Okay, so and by the way, common JS has really got big because of Node. As you can see, they say here, NPM still requires common JS. And one thing that I've already done a little bit is deal with their APIs for files. Dude, I don't know if you've seen my streams, but I use a lot of file IO when I'm doing scraping and I'm getting data sets. It's so much better in Bun. It's not even funny. It looks like it's already compatible with most of Node.js, so that's a cool thing. Bun is more than a runtime. The long-term goal is to be a cohesive infrastructural toolkit for building apps with JS, TypeScript, package manager, transpiler. I like the fact that it's transpiler, bundler, script runner, test runner. So this is good. It's great that they now here's the reason why I like Bun. And then hopefully I'm probably going to start building with it more, is because there's been this thing in the coding world where everyone started making things super modular. Started making everything like you just npm install fucking everything. From like, there's a joke where it's like you can npm install like toSum function or something like that, like some like, or like a Fibonacci sequence. Like you can, everything becomes super modular, and that's fine. I'm not saying Bun is against that or anything, but the problem is a lot of tooling started to become very decentralized and disparate, where you're using, for instance, when you need to install Node, you're installing npm too. You have to, like, it comes with it. You have two things, right? I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but that can get a little annoying, because it turns out when you need to install Node and npm, you also need to, if you're using TypeScript, you need to install maybe ES-Build or like all the tooling around, and a linter and all the tooling around TypeScript. And then if you're going to do a React project, you need to get all the React stuff. So then you start having like 5 things you need to get every single project. The cool thing about Bun is they try to tackle this, but they do put it all into one thing. And there's a big problem that can happen when you do that, is that, you know, separation of concerns is like one of the main things, that important things when it comes to building, but you can absolutely do it with having a toolkit. OpenC and Cocoa is a toolkit, is a very powerful toolkit. You know, anyone who does mobile stuff, it's like so many things have one single like powerful to it. And I'm not expert at mobile, but it's like, I know for mobile you can get by with one toolkit and for basic stuff. And the web doesn't really have that. So I like Bun. I like what they're saying here. Let's see if it actually fucking works, because it's new. I will say, with everything that's happening here, this is all very new. I want to go through a few things that I think are cool. So let's go to their HTTP server. Let's just go to the API. So they have a serve function. Oh, I can't, like, what's happening? The site's just like suck shit. Okay, but okay, cool. So, but they have this Bun serve where you run your HTTP server, and looks like they have this like fetch handler that gets all incoming requests. Imagine this is, you're using Express and you're saying, you know, app.use. So pretty much every fucking thing will hit this endpoint right here. And it's pretty simple, right? And then you could specify the port and the host name. This right now, this is just stylistic, why you would want this, right? Oh, you can listen to Unix sockets directly, which is great. And I want to see it scale out a little bit. So let's go here. Oh, interesting. You can actually, they have a built-in TLS certificate set up, which is nice if you're going to do HTTPS. So that's very important. But I want to see, let's see if they talk about middleware. Did they talk about middleware here? Oh, here's something I might be using today. Is this is separate, but this is workers. So you can actually set up workers pretty easily by, it looks like you can generate little internal URLs from the worker file. And I want to see how the worker file is actually set up. Looks like it's like this. Interesting. So I might do this if I want to have multiple browsers open for the web crawler. I may not do it today because like the crawler itself is going to be a whole fucking thing. By the way, we're not doing a lot of HTTP web stuff right now. We're doing a lot of web scraping and web crawling. Yeah, they have, this looks like they have a much better TCP interface, or more thought out, I guess. Oh yeah, the file IO. So you know how I always, or I don't know if you watch, but like if you're new, that's fine. But if you use FS and Node, you know how awesome this is. So really, you define this Bun.file instance. So they're actually kind of utilizing classes nicely, which is good. And they have this file method on the greater bun class, and then this gives you a Bun.file instance, and then you can do a ton of stuff with it. Like you can just get the text, you can get the stream, you can get an array buffer. It's more so because I like that way of setting up code where you have a class, you create an instance on something, and then that instance you just get a lot of tools with it. You get the instance gives you an interface of stuff rather than having to just import a ton of different library items, which gets to be a bit intense. Oh yeah, they have a built-in transpiler, which is pretty cool. So transpiling, if you don't know, transpiling is this concept where you can sort of convert or move a high-level programming language to another high-level programming language. It's kind of the general. It's a part of the compilation where when we talk about compiling, we're really mostly always talking about getting a language to a lower level. So getting a higher level language to a lower level. And we can abstract that out to high to low, but typically they're going to be talking about a low level language being compiled to machine code or a high level language being compiled to machine code. That's what people mean when they say compiler. When they say interpreter, or actually before I say interpreter, when they say, actually, yeah, let's talk about interpreter. So when they say interpreter, they're more so talking about being able to sort of, what's a good way of putting it? Being able to sort of execute that compiled machine code in the same, typically in the static analysis phase, but in like, I think they call this tree walk interpreters. It's kind of like the hacky ones, but so like when you're using Python, it runs it, right? Like when you like are running your Python, it'll run it and then it'll break, right? Like let's say you write 20 lines of code, and then at the 10th line of code, it'll break at that line of code. So that's typically a good example of an interpreted language, even though C Python's a little bit of a mix of compiled and interpreted. The reason why that's interpreted is that you're kind of like compiling and running at the same time. And then there's this instance where it sort of breaks. And then you're not like, you didn't fully compile the file first and then run an executable, right? So that's sort of a good way of looking at interpreted versus compiled. I mean, both terms, interpreted isn't the most defined term, so don't freak out about it. But they have something built in where you can transpile. So you can actually get a high-level interpretation or a high-level language to another high-level language. So you can get TSX to JSX and yada, yada, which is great. It's really cool. By the way, it's only limited to JS, TSX, TS, and TSX. This isn't like fucking, they're not like, they don't make this like too crazy, you know what I mean? Like they're not making this like, you know, like you can't like compile C in this shit, obviously. It's all JavaScript based. Okay, cool. So they have globs, they have a lot of cool stuff here. So I already have some code set up. I'm gonna get into my code in a sec. Before I get into the code, I'm gonna get into what the fuck I'm building. So I have a bigger plan in terms of what I want to build. And a lot of it comes from the fact that I want to build on the web faster and better. So typically, if I want to build on the web right now, I have to code a web scraper and build out structure. Let's get what, yeah, the structure. Actually, build a web scraper and code around the structure of the web page. We're getting into what I'm building right now. I just want to be we're getting out of Bun. So let's go to like Hacker News or some shit. So like right now, if I need to, and there's a lot of, and LLMs are a big part of this. And I'm going to talk about LLMs right now because probably the next video, I'm going to do some LLM stuff. This is a continuation of, you can look at, if you want to get some context, well, this is all the context you need actually, but this is a bit of a solidifying of a lot of the ideas I had in the auto front and the HTML wireframe designing video I have, and also the tiny web dev LLM videos I have. My main thing that I want to build is, rather than building all these bullshit web scrapers, I want to have a simple language for myself to say, almost like SQL. And it could be an API. It could be, I could start it as like a library in Node or Bun or whatever. But I want to say semantically, select comments from news.ycombinator.com. And then I want to maybe have some functions here where I can say, so like sentiment positive. I could say like select comments that have positive sentiment. You kind of get what I'm saying here. It's like, what is a comment? And right now, LLMs are actually pretty good at determining this, but they're not great at specificity, and they don't scale well. Well, the big thing is, if I using OpenAI or something like that, they don't scale well, and they're not great at extracting the real HTML. But if you want to just get text, it's good. It's very good at extracting just like the text or whatever sometimes, but it's not good at actually analyzing the combination of HTML with the text. So, and then also it doesn't need to just be this. And also I could say like limit 10. By the way, this language here is how I'm thinking through the idea. So it may be a node.js library, and maybe I call it supercoder. And then I import supercoder, and then I do supercoder dot, fetch, and then I give a website, and then I say, and then I can keep piping the output, right? Oh man, I gotta do a whole stream on Unix philosophy. And then I say, comments, right? And then I could maybe say limit 10. There's I saw a few attempts at this recently, but I haven't seen any actually be able to, because I don't want just comments here. I want a ton of shit. I want video thumbnails, right? I want a ton of different types of things. I want to have like news article, I want blog article. You know what I mean? Like it's not just, I want to have a full semantic for everything that can be content on the web. I want to be able to semantically scrape all this stuff and be able to do things with it where I can join things as well. And I can maybe say join, and I could say on comment fucking name or whatever. And then I could say go get profile. And I could have a routine to say, give me a profile of this person, because profiles themselves are something that we can semantically scrape. Now, this is my big project. I thought you made a 10x AI web dev agent. LLM will be used as a function call for things like positive comments. You want to create a more structured approach so it's easier to use the LLM for I'm going to use an LLM. Here's what I'm going to show you where the LLM is going to get used. I'm going to show you where the LLM is going to get used. So this is the dream. The dream is I want to make you all a 10x. The dream is, I don't know what to call it. Maybe I'll call it supercoder. That's what I have, like little projects that I call supercode. I don't know what to call it. Web query language. I don't know what to call it. But I want because if this is extensible enough and big enough and simple enough, you will be able to very easily build out full projects where it's literally, you could just have a long query like this and have all the data you want for your project. You can build data sets with like one line of code, like straight up. Like this, like you can get around all the bullshit web scraping stuff doing this. I'll show you how to do it, how I'm going to do it. LLMs, simply tossing a web page to an LLM and in natural language, asking it to give you stuff, it doesn't cut it and it doesn't scale. And but it's not bad though. It's not bad at all. Here's the dream. Here's how I want to do it. I do want to use an LLM. So let me go to how I want to build this. First thing, we need to get a ton of content. So I have a script I already wrote that is able to capture content. I showed it on a different stream, but that can capture different content from a site. So I can capture, where's the website? So I can capture, like, if we go to Hacker News or something. Wait, I already have Hacker News open. So if we go to Hacker News, I can like capture this component and I can just get all the main content components from a site. It's a pretty basic like algorithm. It's not really that complicated, but I just score content and then I accumulate. But anyway, so I want to have an algorithm where I pretty much scrape tons and tons of content on the web. So I'm going to start building the web crawler in a sec. I'm just giving you context. Let's scrape tons and tons of content on the web and then use an LLM to generate embeddings for each of these HTML elements, the components. Build a vector DB. Well, it won't be a DB just yet, but we're going to cluster all the vectors and categorize them based on their grouping. We're going to define the categories, probably with an LLM. So what I mean is, so I'm going to get a ton of little content components on the web. It might be a login form. It might be, by the way, yeah, it could just be like, we could say find login, you know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. But because like you can use the semantics of what these things mean, but I want to define them probably with an LLM. So really what this is doing is I'm going to scrape a ton of little components off the web. That's what this web crawler is doing. I'm going to be just going to sites and sites, scraping all that shit, all the components, I guess is what it will call it. Like a button might be a fucking component, right? So we're going to scrape all that. We're going to create embeddings for it. So I'll show you how we're going to do that, probably next stream. So right now, I'm just going to build a web crawler, but because I want to keep it tight. So we're going to generate the embeddings, get a database of embeddings, cluster them, probably with k-means. So the clustering, I don't know if you're used to ML stuff. The k-means is a way of clustering. So we'll cluster these with k-means, and we'll do PCA first. So PCA is k-means. PCA, so we get it all in a, we'll kind of reduce it all to some sort of normalized range of dimensions. And also just get rid of all the fluff. And then we're going to cluster it, and then we're going to define the categories. So that's going to give us the grouping. So ideally, whatever LLM we use, Llama 2 or whatever, Code Llama, it's going to be smart enough to be able to create high quality embeddings. And then with those embeddings, we'll be able to create really well-defined clusters. Hopefully. But first, I got to get the fucking data. Okay. So in the end, after doing all this shit, hopefully we can create an API that can work like this. We can say, hey, fetch comments from this, find most positive, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just making it up, right? Tweet it. That's not really what this. So that's a whole other part. I actually do know how to do that. That's not in the scope of this API, but that's possible, right? And by the way, you could be like, hey, give me news articles, give me blog articles, give me fucking a ton of stuff. And we don't just have to do positive, negative sentiment. We could do a ton of different types of sentiment stuff. We could probably use an LLM for a lot of that stuff. So the LLM, I also want to define what these things are with an LLM for time's sake. So I want to like, I'll probably just use Llama 2 for that. I don't know, but I want to say, hey, look at all these HTML files or components. What's a common theme? Like, how would you describe all of these? You know what I mean? And then it'll say, oh, these are all comments. Boom, we just defined our API. And then, so the way this is going to work is now that we get the structure of the page, we can run inference. You're probably using the vector DB to some extent, or some generalized, we'll have to generalize it. There might be a model or something, but so the second part to make it work is we need to, when we input a page right here, we need to go to the page, go to URL, and detect content by sentiment. That's it. We need to get all the content from the page and then be like, boom, this is a comment. Boom, this is this is this. Boom, 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 boom. There's a lot of ways we can do that. I don't think we need a full vector DB to do this, to do that. We might, but I don't think we need that. That's the main, this is like bring it together. So this is the inference. I'll say this is the training. It's not really training. Training phase. This is our data set building, the web crawler. This is our training. This is our inference. So this is how the project is going to work. All right, cool. You're finally on Twitch? Yeah, dude. I mean, I've been on Twitch the whole time, but yeah. Do the clusters just define the difference between a login button and, say, an image in the yeah, exactly. But there may be login buttons that are grouped together with sign up buttons or something. Like, that's where we need to find the right LLM to create the embeddings on. So that's where this project becomes more like hacky and figuring stuff out. By the way, this is how shit actually gets built, by the way. Everyone thinks there's like some this is I'm not like trying to toot my own fucking horn here at all, but this is more technical than a lot of what happens behind the scenes on products you probably use. Like, this is how the process really is. It's like I'm just like, yeah, fuck it. We might use k-means. Like I just thought it's like, yeah, we'll cluster it. I'm saying, hey, we'll vectorize it with some sort of LLM. Like there's not like when you're in the engineering space in this data world, like a lot of it's like figuring out a lot of random fucking tools. The next gen, why is this in all caps? The next gen engineer is a hacky motherfucker. It's true though. I'm telling you, like this is like stuff. This is how it's done. This is how it's done. And then this is not. I'm not saying that I like what I'm like doing is amazing or whatever. I'm just saying like this is like because it's good to see how things are done. Like this is actually how a lot of projects turn out. Is people are like, oh, how do we cluster? Yeah, let's just fucking use K. Like k-means is the most popular basic fucking clustering thing. But it's like if it works, it works, right? It's like, oh, we'll just use some LLM to create the embeddings. By the way, real quick, MarkupLM. So I was going to use this to get the embeddings, and I might try it. This might be good. This is pretty new. It's documented very well on Hugging Face. I think it's because this is Microsoft built this. I'm like 90% sure. Hold on a sec. Is this Microsoft built this because it's really, dude, creating HTML embeddings is really fucking important. We'll see in the next couple of years. I think it's one of the most important challenges. Like being able to represent HTML is going to be big, in my opinion. Let's see. Let's see their reference. Is this hold on a sec. Is this a Microsoft guy? I don't care. I thought I saw Microsoft, so who cares? Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it's Microsoft. All right. But so they trained, long story short, I'm not gonna fucking talk about it because I'm probably not gonna use it. Even though this is great, I genuinely think using Llama 2 will be better. So it's funny, they made this specifically for people like me wanting to create HTML embeddings, but as much as I'm pro like small models and shit, like I'm pretty sure if we just use like 70 billion Falcon model or something, it'll be fine. Like if we use, I'm not gonna use OpenAI embeddings because I just don't like. I'm very wary of OpenAI and being dependent on them. But I just feel like they don't have this shit together. To be like, I trust open source to be honest, and I like seeing the weights. But anyway, so what they did is they trained a model on it's multimodal. So on the screenshot of the HTML, I believe, let me just double check. The screenshot, the HTML structure, yeah. And then the text. I think those are the three things. If I'm wrong, fine. But they use those three. Actually, I can just look at their architecture. Yeah, they extract the XPaths. Yeah, they get the XPaths. They get the likes of the structure. They get the text, and I believe they get screenshots. I think I read that here. Yeah, in the image. So that way they can get a very, they say visually rich understanding of a document. I might use this for the clustering. I might use it, but I might not. I could see a way to iteratively improve the clustering is to constantly find outliers in your cluster categories and create an alert system where the weakness in the LLM. The thing is with that, Nitro, that's a good idea, but the clustering might be already pretty good. That's a good point though. Like using the LLM, or using some way to like detect outliers to see where the LLM's fucked up with the clustering. That might be good, but honestly, it might be so that's where I'll probably do a next stream, but once I get into the clustering, I'll sort of show how you can get pretty hacky around finding the perfect clusters. Like I'll show you how to find the right I guess n for k-means or k-means. Cool. So let's see. Let's just fucking code. Let's get into it. I already have oh yeah, so real quick. So the web crawler I'm making is gonna be pretty basic. So it's gonna work in a way where we go to a website, we fucking scrape it. We have seeds. I'm using like a Brave search for HTML templates, Hacker News, and a Google search, right? So we're using these seeds. We're going to go to the seed. We're going to scrape the site. We're going to get the components, save it somewhere in a file. And then we're going to go, we're going to get, this is how web crawlers work. It's like we're going to get those outbound links. We're going to go to those outbound links. And then I have certain constraints where I say, only go 10 links deep, and then just get out of there. And then keep adding links to let's keep adding links to some sort of like, half of it's like already built because I'm adapting it from another script I have. But keep adding it to the links we need to go to pop off. Okay, cool. So let's, by the way, this is a class. Let me walk through the code I have so far. You've seen this before. If you've seen my other streams, I've written this many times, Puppeteer. I just realized I did not import Puppeteer. But so this is structured a little better because I kind of care about this project. But the way it works is I'm gonna have scripts in this folder. This is going to be what we use to fetch, and I'll have like a clustering script and yada, yada, yada. But here we have a script that's like the web crawler. And this is going to be what we use to fetch components. And we're going to output something in this data director. It's going to be like a folder that's like, or a file that's like components. It'll be a JSON. Always a JSON. I can do a TXT. So we're gonna. This is literally just gonna be a array of a ton of. We can do a CSV as well, but it doesn't matter. This is gonna be an array of a ton of HTML components. And this, by the way, I'm not doing the whole. I know on a previous stream I've done like the style embeddings where I need to capture how this element looks visually. So I just compute all the styles and put it in the element. We're not doing that. We shouldn't need to do that here, in my opinion. If we need to do stuff like that, I'll just get more data. The LLM should be smart enough to figure out these embeddings should be good enough, in my opinion, so we don't have to. Like we're just clustering shit, right? We're not doing any gen. The only time we're going to do any AI gen with the LLM is when I label the actual component. So like when I label the clusters. So the cluster labeling, I should make that much clearer. Where did I write all that shit? Was that in the README? Yeah, what the fucking building. So this is going to be labeling each cluster with an LLM. So we'll have to figure out what prompt that's going to look like. Maybe actually put this in a real file. Notes.md. So let's fucking do it. It's mostly, I think the main logic here is done. I didn't run any of these files yet, by the way. Like, I don't even know if like I set this file up right and I can export like this. This is my first time using the Bun runtime, but I did change this. Oh, I love it. I love it. I can just use Bun.file. It's so beautiful. So amazing. So by the way, Leah, let me run through these classes for a sec. So I have the script where I run the crawler. And I think I can do crawler.run. I think that's how I decided to do this. Yeah, crawl.run. So I create an instance of my crawler class. And then I run the crawler run. And then this loads up each seed. If you want to make a crawler, this is what if you want to get a data set and you have some thing you want to do. By the way, hey, once I'm done building this, it'll be really easy to get data sets. You're like, hey, I need to get all fucking comments on about this topic, right? You could just run, you could use this fucking API I'm building, and then you could be like, hey, and by API I mean it's like a library you'll npm install. But anyway, so and you could just get that data set in like a line of code. This is the groundwork. Okay, this is the groundwork of how that shit's gonna work. What's the goal with the crawler? Solo trail, bro. I talked about it for a while. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'll re-talk about it. Okay. Oh, just bobbing around. You're here. Okay, cool. The reason why I said that solo trail is because you were here earlier. But if you're new, like just bobbing around, I'll reiterate what we're doing. Okay, so here's what we're doing. So I want to make an API that works like this. Like I want to have an npm package called, this could be a business. I would spend money for this right now. You guys understand how fucking much shit that I make money on is based on web scraping. So like, let's say I call it Supercoder. I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know what to call it. It's my placeholder name. Okay. So I go make a script called it's called get some comments .js. I make this script. In the script, I import Supercoder, or you get it. And then the way it'll work is literally I'll just be like, hey, go to news.ycombinator.com, give me comments. And I could say like get articles. And this could be any website, right? So this can be newyorktimes.com, right? They don't have comments on it. But I'd say get articles. And then I could maybe say like each article. I don't know how I'm going to make the API, but you get it. There'll be some loop, and I'll say for like B3, get the comments, find the most positive, get the topic from it. You know what I'm saying? And the idea is we're adding structure, semantic structure to the web. So if we get a big enough data set, we train this strong enough, we'll be able to do tons of shit. We could, like I said, you can get news articles, blog articles. You could say we could get profiles, right? So you could say find the most positive. So get author profile. That'll be like a generic thing, right? So get the profile of the person that made the content, and then it'll be like, hey, it may fail, right? But if it succeeds, you could say like go to social media or whatever. So it's like these are more sort of routines. This is more of a routine. This is more something that's like an automation. It's a better way. I care less about that. I care more about how do we make a huge language for the web. Yeah. No, it's what I was talking about last stream. Oh no, I wasn't joking. No, I'm building it right now, just bobbing around. No. I know how to build this. like I know. This is gonna get built. No, it's not a joke at all. So like the way I'm gonna do it is is what I'll talk about down here, where I have this algorithm for detecting content on a web page. So like, I can walk through that in a sec, but the reality is I just go to a page and I have a way of scoring what is content on the page, right? I'm going to build up a data set of just a ton of these components. So it's like it'll get an email, it'll get an input, it'll get, it's very abstract, like what a component is, but you get it might get the whole page, and those will be low ranked things, right? And I may just prune those out of the data set. But I just want little components. I want a button, I want shit like that. I want to get it granular enough that it's useful, but not too granular that I'm just getting p tags and shit. But the way it works is we're actually not really we're gonna train a model, but this is my first pass at this idea. Is we're gonna generate embeddings for each of these components that we scrape using an LLM. Probably, I'm gonna test it out. I talked through a little LLM called MarkupLM that Microsoft made for creating HTML embeddings, but Solar Trail, that's an awesome idea. Yeah. Dude, you could 100% use this for ad blocking. That's like, yeah, this is like, but that's the thing, is that we got to build the foundation for it first. So like, because if this gets granular enough, you could have little routines that are like, okay, you could make your own macro called get ad. Imagine this shit. And then you define what it is. You say, and if you're used to like coding and stuff, you'll kind of know what I'm saying here, but maybe there's like what's it called? Like almost like a pass fail thing where you have to just like, almost like an error thing where it's like, there has to be a button with like whatever sentiment you want. There has to be all of this has to, if this returns true, so you'll just resolve this thing or whatever. I'm being super generic here. It's like, I'm being super like abstract here, but it's like you just keep defining what you think an ad is based on the library. So you say like, there's a button that would have this sentiment. Like maybe there's a button that has a sentiment that's about clicking or whatever. You get what I'm saying? And that would be detecting an ad block. Maybe like the CSS is like, I don't know. Like, but the idea is you can create your own macros. If you have enough of a system here, you could eventually define how to detect an ad in an abstract way. You kind of get what I'm saying? So 100% you can use this to detect ads. Like, I mean, there could just be an ad thing. I think an ad itself, it could just be an ad API, but it would be more granular. So it would be like, video slot ad, So like when you go to a Fox News article, that type of video ad slot, right? I just finished a vector DB implementation in Rust. Nice. I was wondering how you address the problem searching nearest neighbors for a node if the vector isn't indexed yet. If you mean the one you're searching, so you have to vectorize it. So the way it works is like whatever semantic similarity or nearest neighbors cosine similarity you have to vectorize both sides. I don't know if that's what you're asking, but the key, the thing that you're trying, or I guess the key, but like the query, the thing that you're trying to query, that has to be vectorized. I don't know if that's what you mean, but so you vectorize everything that goes in the database, but you vectorize the thing when you do inference, when you do a search, you have to vectorize the query, the thing that you want to search. And then here's where it gets crazy so look up sentence transformers and how that's set up, because a lot of those models are trained for question answering on the left-hand right-hand side. So when you do the vector comparison, it's a lookup. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's an awesome thing about the vectorizing stuff. All right, cool. So that's how it works. So that's what we're building. So, all right. So the way this is going to work is I have these seed files. I loop through the seed files. Every time a seed file runs, I have this crawl depth thing that I'm resetting. So because I don't want it to just keep continuously going, I want to have this depth max. So for each seed, it's only going to go 10 things down, if that makes sense. But I need to have a breadth thing. I'm like, it's a funny way to put it. But I need to have a way to like say, for instance, like I'm getting all the outbound links on this site. When I loop through these outbound sites, I'm saying for every one crawl, but also like I don't really want to do that. Now I'm thinking about it. I'll explain my question on the Discord later. Okay, cool. Yeah, I may not have answered that. Yeah, definitely. You're creating feature engineering for components. Yeah, exactly. That are generic. It's linked. So this is I'm trying to make Tim Berners-Lee's semantic web actually a thing. Because he kind of fucked it up, if I'm being honest. The problem with Tim Berners-Lee is he didn't explain the semantic web well enough. It was like he was just like, yeah, we have like it's gonna be great when all this data is linked together, and then you're like, how's it gonna be linked together? Oh, everyone's gonna have to define in their HTML. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, of what I'm talking about, but semantic web is this idea that everyone like you would define in your website. It would be like let's say I'm making Facebook part 2. I'd say like, it doesn't matter that I'm doing the body tag, but you get it. But I'd say like, okay, this is a social profile. You right? You get it? This is like a social profile, and this will be linked to all the other, and I'll use like some ID for this guy. And when I make Twitter, I'm going to use the same ID and the same social profile and all this. And I'm going to have the same, you get it? Like that was the wet dream of it. That's really what it was. I know that like it became a lot of other things, but people can say that's what it was. And the reality is people don't like adopting formats. So I'm like, the way you actually get like a semantic web is you just like you make order out of the chaos. You give structure to the bullshit. So that's what we're trying to do here. So we're going to find, using vectors, LLMs, clustering, we're going to find a way to give structure to the randomness of how people make their websites. Okay, cool. So I got to figure out this crawl depth thing. For now, the way this is working is I await, which is fine. But okay, so I go through on each website. I have this crawl script. Also, I didn't run this yet. So this is mostly taken from another site I have, or another scraper I have. So I'm gonna go. How good is the LLM you're using at doing this? I haven't done the when it comes to creating the LLM embeddings. I haven't tried that. I made my own embeddings. I could show you that code another day, but I don't even want to look at it right now. I mean, I made my own HTML embeddings, but I think, yeah, this MarkupLM thing is good. Like this MarkupLM thing that Microsoft made, where they have HTML document embeddings. They have a lot of tooling here. But you can use this to create embeddings. But like when I see this, I'm like, fuck, this is actually pretty good. I'm like, but I even though that's good, I swear to God, I think using like a 70 billion like Falcon param model like Falcon is gonna be better than this. Even though this is like made pretty well with a lot of thought to it. That's the power of LLMs. Like, even though like I like to kind of shit on the fact that eventually you get diminishing returns with LLMs for what people actually want to like pay for. In that, like, the way people keep like Mistral's amazing, you know, like the amount of power they got out of that. It's pretty amazing. All right, so all right, page routine. So I have this concept here. I like this. I never really done this before because I never like thought of this as being like making a web crawler class. But the idea here in my web crawler is when I go to the actual page, I want to do some sort of logic to say right here, like this is going to be what happens on the page. This is like the web scraping job. I say routine a lot, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. There's going to be a callback that I pass to this class. So like I have this class right here. So I'm going to pass in a callback that's like, maybe I shouldn't define it right here. But I'm going to have some sort of, you know, get features, get component features. This could be the HTML, like for each component on the page. And then this will be, it'll be an array. For now, it'll be empty. But I'm going to pass this in as a callback. And this itself is going to be applied to the this of this web crawler class. I think right here. So I pass it in here. I put it onto this. So I should be able to, in here, accumulate my data set, which I apply right here. I think. I'm pretty sure. I forgot if that's going to mess up. But I'll do like this data set push, and then it'll be like the component here. It'll be like an HTML. Or it'll be like a div. That makes sense. So like that's how this is really going to be working. For this, you can cache LLM calls. I don't think for what. I don't think there's going to be any, because the only way I would do caching is if a lot of these were the same. So like this is, I'm not doing inference on the LLM. I'm using it as an embeddings layer. So I'm just using it as an encoder. So so I would only cache anything if I was encoding the same div multiple times. Okay, so all right, so we're creating this class. We're gonna run it. Let me first just run this until I get a ton of errors, or until I get rid of all the errors. And there's gonna be a ton of errors. It's gonna be a ton of errors. There's always a ton of errors. That's life, though. Life is just a ton of fucking errors, right? Like, if you know, you know. You know. How do you run a file in Bun? It's like I did all that, and I'm like, how does Bun work? Let me get my. Let me put this chat over here, and then let's go to. I did all that, and I'm like, wait, what's the fuck? How the fuck does Bun work? Oh, that's funny. Okay. Oh yeah, you just do that. It's fine. So Bun scripts and what did I call the script? Fetch components. Okay. What's the issue here? Expected. Oh, there's no way that it has strict. It's used strict for everything here. Well, I'm not gonna use it now. I have to use semicolons? You fuck. Do I turn that off? No, I'll do it. I'll do it. I should grow up. I should grow up. Maybe they only do it. Here's where we get into where there might be a problem with Bun. Everything I said about Bun, let's undo it because they just fucking forced me to use semicolons. Every good thing I said about it doesn't mean anything now because I was betrayed. I'm just kidding. But no, but I wonder if they detect if you didn't use it in the file. Like if you started using semicolons, that you have to keep using them. I forgot what that's called. Found setup browser. Oh wait, this is like an actual error. Never mind. Equals. Oh right. We're not doing. Yeah, that's like a real thing. Let's do it in the run command. That wasn't because of the semicolon. Okay. All right. So browser assignment will throw because browser is a constant. It's right here. I don't want browser to be a constant. Also, I don't want browser. So I'm actually applying. So by the way, if you don't know, browser is the Puppeteer. I need to install. Is the Puppeteer. It's the instance for Puppeteer. So I'm going to apply this to as a method or as an attribute to this class. Attribute, it's not really what it is, but whenever I just put something on this, I mean attribute. You get it. But here I can actually redeclare. Oh, you know what's interesting? I can redeclare this here, the same variables, and then I could just do this. It's in the scope of run, but it's going to be old. That doesn't matter. Okay. I'm just saying what's going on in my head. Okay, so where's the first error? Okay, nice. So I got rid of all those stylistic errors. Can't find module. Oh, so yeah, there wasn't a semicolon issue. I was just reading the error. I was like shunning them. Jesus, what's wrong with me? Okay, so this is in the current directory, so that's wrong. It's in the current directory. I think the next thing should be Puppeteer. Cannot find package Puppeteer. Can I just Bun install Puppeteer? It didn't work. Nice. Okay, something's happening. Cool. Okay. Cannot find Chrome version. Oh. You know what? I gotta delete my local Puppeteer cache. I think, maybe. You remove my node modules. What about the lock file? The lock file freaks me out a little bit. How do I clear cache in Bun? We're finally done with AI streams. No, there'll be more AI streams. I'm also using AI here. Let's see. Bun run source. Solar Trail, you just saying things. No, I appreciate it. No, I'm running a specific file here. That's like a command file. Let's see. So the Chrome, you know what's happening. Whenever this always happens when I get a new Puppeteer version, is the For some reason, the npm module doesn't work well with whenever you upgrade your Chrome locally. Let's see. Anyway, let's clear cache in Bun. Bun run source. I know I don't have a problem running the file. Okay, so no, the file's running. I'm just updating Puppeteer. PM/RM. Oh, they have a thing called what's Bun PM. Let's look at this. So this is so whenever you're learning a new thing, package manager. That's simple. Whenever you're, so it looks like this is utilities for the package manager. Oh, that's so nice. So nice. And then I could do cache RM. They have like a way for me through the bun command to update the package manager. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Install Puppeteer again. I see. So it ran bun add first. Huh. Is it the same thing? I don't know. So is bun install the same as bun add? Or is bun add like the yarn version? Let's see. What's like the difference? I don't get it. It is, by the way, it is faster. I don't know if you guys could tell on your end, but it definitely installed a lot faster. All right, cool. Let's run this again. You told me to use run instead of this. Why would that change anything? I think like those are the same commands. All right, so do I need to upgrade Chrome? Perform installation before. Let's go to Chrome. Every time, even though I get shit on Brave, because sometimes the search kind of sucks. I'll be honest. You have to, if you're a Brave fan, you have to admit the Brave search is very weak compared to Google. I know we like to shit on Google, but like Google search is a lot better than Brave search for basic stuff. But Brave is faster, in my opinion. That being said, Brave is a faster browser. Chrome just like it gets to be a little intense. Is this like not as? Do I need to upgrade this? Oh, I think it would have said so. They're pretty vocal about that. Okay, so can I find Chrome? Why should I npm install it if I'm using Bun install? Is this an issue with Bun? So they're like, first, you do not perform installation before running the script, but your cache path is incorrectly configured. I think that's probably fine. I'm gonna see if anyone's gotten this error for. See. I'm gonna see if this because I've always fixed this error by reinstalling it. I've never gotten it the first time I install it. This might be because it's conflicting with Bun though. Let's see the most upvoted thing. Interesting. Let's run this. CD, node modules, CD. Dang, that just got a ton of stuff. Oh, install MJS. Okay. Install MJS. It said module not found. Can I do node? I can do node. No, module not found. The file's there though. Oh, because I'm in Puppeteer right now. My bad. Let's see again. Oh, nice. Okay. Cool. Okay, so now, oh, I didn't know that that's how you can just get the new whatever version your Puppeteer version works with, or whatever Chrome version. Okay, it's downloading. It's downloading. I'm always like wondering. I need to like I need to destroy a ton of shit on my computer because I don't have a lot of space left. I'm a fucking idiot. I just need to get a hard drive. Should be fine. All right. Well, while that's installing, I'm gonna go look up some Bun stuff. Some fun Bun stuff. Still going. Yeah. How do you do environment variables? Is that like okay? So they automatically read that in .env. Fucking A. Jesus Christ. Isn't that so annoying how like Node doesn't automatically load the .env? Bun was made by a guy who hates Node.js. My kind of guy. All right, so let's run this again. And it's basic stuff, dude. Notice how like such a basic thing to just automatically load the env. Maybe and also maybe Node does it now, and that's fine. But because I discovered it through Bun has a new customer. Okay, cool. It's running. Everything's running. Let's see if nope, no such file directory. I can't load my seeds text file. And doing Control C a million times. Okay, so what's wrong with that? // data seeds.text. Oh, so it's from the okay. I'm gonna look at so now I have to look at why is that what it is when you're using a new tooling. So now I gotta look at how to get because typically I'll use Bun get the project directory. Because like to get the project directory when I'm using yeah, let's just say current file. Or entry can I say entry point? But typically I'll use path to do that. So it looks like Bun has on import meta.meta. I don't know why it's called that. They have something here. So let me actually console log import meta. Oh no. Why is this it's not canceling out? Control D. Let's get out of here. So let's cd into dev. Let's go back into I call it real web hacks. Fucking nerd. I'm gonna I think I have to do I have Bun in here? Yeah. So let's run this again. Okay, so this is the lib folder. Control C. Control C is not working. That's annoying. Anyway, so this directory, this is the directory the file's in. That's actually not what I care about. I want to get the directory. I want to get the directory where the project's in. So actually, I'm going to look at this import meta object they have. I don't know why it's called an import. So this is the dir. This is the path to the project. Because I'm running the scripts file. But this meta dir gives me the actual file when it's resolved, when the import's resolved. Current file, the name of the current file, absolute path to the current file. Current file is the entry point to the current Bun process. So do they not have a project? Yeah, I want to get the current entry point is what I want. Oh, bun.main. Yeah, nice. That's it. Oh, this logs the whole file though. Do they have dir name in Bun? The dir name __ dir name is, looks like someone asked the question, is what I'm looking for. Get the name of the current module. File variable be something. Okay, well I can use this. This doesn't matter too much. I want it to be relative anyway. I'm just having a little fun exploring. Just exploring. I don't know why I said that like the Joker. So I'm going to use this dir, and it's going to be the lib folder. So I'm going to have to use // this. So now I know whenever I want to get files, I can use this dir thing, and then I can just assume I'm relative to this file where I'm at. Okay, so let's run this. I want to see if it's going to hang again. Okay. Oh, it's working. Nice. It didn't find any outbound links for any of these. Still can't exit out. I don't know what's going on. So something broke. I think it's because I didn't wait for the page to load. Let's see. But it did like kind of work a little bit. Okay, so let's go to this crawl page. Oh, you know what happened? I didn't do anything. I did. Okay, now we got to actually write the crawler, because now it is going to the, or it's not going to the site yet. But I like this. I actually like how I can port my node.js stuff pretty fucking easily here, which is pretty cool. So here I can actually do this .browser. Feature. Actually, I don't want to write this in here. Just do that. Let's do that right here. To go to. To go to. I've done so much. I've done so much. What's it called? Puppeteer. Yeah, I'm still gonna look up go to. Look at. Yeah, it is good. It's page go to, not browser go to. So I'm gonna go. So for every time you crawl, you go to this go to right here. So it's gonna go to the site, and then it's gonna run page routine after the site loads. I'm gonna steal my own code. And I'm going to look at, because I have another crawler I wrote. And I'm going to look at, this is the most recent one I did on the auto. Wait, this is not it. It's an empty file. Let me go to the most recent one I did on auto front end. I think it's this one. Dang, it's not this one either. Component feature fetcher. Where is it? Is it in source? Yeah, it's this one. Okay. Yeah, I want to have the timeout, and then I want to do this. Yeah, I want to do this. And then the navigation timeout. And then I want to wait for DOM content loaded. Yep, that's what I want to do. And then, yeah, nice. Okay, I don't need this screenshot that I'm doing here. Always steal your own code. Trust me. A little messy. Hold on. I'm gonna have a function for go to. And then this is gonna pass in the seed website. Because I want to do this every page. I'm going to wait for the DOM content loaded event. I'm going to have a timeout for a minute. Now, that's a long time for a crawler, but I think it's fine because it's a low resource machine. So these might take a long time to resolve the DNS and everything. So, okay, so this needs to change. Because I need to set this, because now I'm doing a class. I wasn't doing a class in the other code. I need to set this to the class object. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying if it fails ever, refresh the browser. That's all I'm saying here. Refresh the browser. So whenever you see me do the setup browser thing, I'm just saying refresh the browser. Like give me a new browser instance. Something failed, give me a new browser instance. I don't have to resolve anything, because I can just return. Return false. Yeah, I returned false. Because you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually have a result here. So right here, I'm going to say this go to, I'll wait for this, give me a result. This is a success or fail. Or this is, actually, yeah, I'm going to say success. If success, continue. And you know what? I'm going to say if it's not a success, then just return. So we're just failing gracefully here. Here I'm going to say, so give me all the hrefs. So now I'm going to run the page routine. I'm going to assume in this page routine that in the end, I'm going to get all the hrefs on the page. So actually, I can pull that out as well. So let's move this back. Kaji is a better search engine. I've never used Kaji as a search engine. What's a good search engine for someone that also ChatGPT? But you know what's so funny? I haven't had a time where I really wanted to ask ChatGPT to solve a problem for something yet, where it would be faster than me just looking it up. I'm just being real. I've had times where, and for explaining concepts, I haven't found that much use for it either. But that's just me. Because I just, you can kind of see how I'm like searching here. It's like, I can't really wait for some fucking LLM generation here. Like, I don't, like, it's like, I ain't got time for that. Okay, so this auto website index. So this is, I'm just saying for all the reason why I'm adding an index for every website is I'm saying is just because of this right here. Every time I cross site, if it's every 10th site, I'm just gonna refresh the whole browser. Like I'm gonna restart the browser. Restart. Because this is some memory thing. Puppeteer is pretty heavy on the heap. So by the way, I don't know You know the thing I do need to look up for Bun? Good on the heap. You know what I do need to look up for Bun? I'm getting shit about burgers. Hold on a second. Bun, JavaScript, runtime, heap memory. I just, because node.js is not at all efficient in the with the memory heap. The call stack actually kind of is, because let me see. Yeah, what do they do? So they say before we delve into Bun 1.0, let's grasp the concept of JavaScript runtime. Yeah. Bun is not your ordinary JavaScript runtime. It comes with several major advantages that set it apart from popular choices like Node.js and Dino. The primary goal is to accelerate your applications without adding unnecessary complexity to your code base. One of Bun's standout features is that it's designed to be a drop-in replacement for Node. I can already see that, which is nice. It has defaults like NodeMon. Oh, it has a built-in watch mode. I definitely don't want to run that for right now. Well, because I'm not going to rerun the web crawler every fucking time. I'd make a file change. But that's cool that has a built-in node mod. Dude, I remember one of the first scripts I ever made as a mini hacker was a watch script for Node. And then I looked up called WatchMod. You can see it on my GitHub or something. I don't know. It was like 10 years ago. And I looked up because I was like a kid. I was like 16 or something. So I didn't like know anything. So I looked it up and I was like, oh, this already exists. And it's way better than this. And it was like after like a whole weekend of building this thing. I was like, okay, so I just wasted a ton of time. The thing that I like so much about, okay, yeah, I need to look at the heap thing. Like is the memory, are they more memory efficient like actually here? Because that was a big problem. I've had a ton of problems with Node when it comes to, yeah, when it comes to memory allocation. It says Bun's a build tool. So Bun, wait. I don't think this guy knows what he's talking about. Bun obviously isn't just the build tool. They literally use a different compiler. So this person's saying that they don't handle memory allocation that like, oh, hold on a second. Wait a second. No, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Hold on. Person just said that Bun typically handles memory allocation with Node, which is not true. Let's see. I just want to see if it's faster with memory and like why. That answer sounds, dude, it totally sounded AI generated. I was like, holy shit, that I think you're right. That guy was AI. Let's see. I'm not gonna say heap. I'm gonna say memory efficiency. I may just look at JavaScript core versus, okay, this is exactly what I want. So they're saying I can also just do a performance check, like what they're saying here, but I'm not doing that right now. Bun has two heaps. One heap is for the runtime, the other heap's for everything else. Okay. It's a little generic. It's not reference counted. I don't think anyone's using any reference counted. Oh, you can force. Oh, that's so cool. You can force garbage collection in line. Dude, I don't know. Like that would have helped me so much with this recent thing I was doing. And they have heap snapshots in the. Okay, I'm gonna use Bun from now on. You can generate a heap snapshot in the code really easily. You can do that in Node, but it wasn't simple. It wasn't this simple. And you definitely, at least as far as, maybe correct me wrong, but you definitely couldn't force garbage collection. That's definitely, I don't remember that being a thing at all. Oh, wait a second. Oh, never mind. Okay. Nice. Great. Okay, cool. I mean, this didn't really answer my question fully, but I'm just going to trust that it's faster. All right. So I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time. All right. So what am I doing? Yeah, let's test this out. Run this. Oh, whoops. I need to use this stop page. And the reason why I'm defining this up here, and then I'm running this down here. I don't need to do it like this. But just know, like, what I'm doing here is I'm going to the site, and then, oh, there's a reason why I did this actually. But anyway, so I'm going to the site, and then I'm waiting for the navigation after that load. How would it have helped you? Which part? Oh, the garbage collection, or the heap. The garbage collection would have, because the heap was getting. I had an issue where, and the garbage collector. So I had an issue where the heap was and it didn't matter the size of it. It was exploding, and you could, and it's because I just had too much memory. The operations were actually pretty, or I had too many things allocated to memory. The operations were actually pretty simple, but I had to keep looping through over a ton of data, and I had to keep what was the algorithm? It was well, I was deduplicating. I had a huge map of stuff, a ton of keys, and I was constantly adding to it and deduplicating and adding, and the deduplicating, and also I was deleting. I was looking for occurrences, and it was like a occurrence map. So the keys pointed to occurrences, and of the amount of times those keys showed up. And eventually it got too big, and I couldn't do any file writing either, because it was just like because I was thinking maybe I should stream this to a file, but unfortunately I had to check. I had to use. Could I have just streamed it? I could have streamed it. I think there was a reason why I didn't want to do file streaming. I forgot why, but file streaming might have helped. But I would need to think back at the problem. But I could have cleared the garbage, and it would have helped a lot, because the way I actually pruned the, I removed like really low occurrence things after a certain amount of cycles of looking through the data I was looking at. I'm being super generic right now, or super vague, but I wound up just deleting data to solve the problem. I'm realizing I probably could have did file streaming, but I feel like there was some reason why I couldn't, because that's like my first thought is I'll just stream the file so I don't have to have all this data loaded up. But there's some reason why I couldn't do that. I don't know why. It might have been because, you know what? It might have been because I was actually doing it in Puppeteer, and I couldn't do file streaming from the browser. Like, I had to bring all the data from the Puppeteer browser to node.js, and that was already too much data. That might have been why. I don't know. But anyway, either way, forcing the garbage collection to clear at a certain point, it would have made it a lot slower. But that would have helped. I think it would have been slower. Maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it would have just been perfect. Okay. So let's run this again. Let's run this again. In the end, I'm gonna, oh, it says undefined crawling. So it is crawling a site, and it didn't find any outbound links. It should be finding outbound links. Oh, I'm not getting any outbound links. Yeah, it's fine. I'm not getting outbound links. It is going to the pages, so it's working. But why is this undefined or why is this not? You know why? Because I never defaulted. That's why. So what else is broken? I have to keep terminating the session. All right, so let's actually start running this. Page routine. My page routine I'm defining in here where I can say, so I need to actually get the components on the page now, which I already have that script. So let me steal my own code and go and get that script. Let's see. If you're not stealing your own code, I don't know what you're doing. Weak. What if on this stream I was always just like, you're fucking weak? You're just negging. So some people would like that. They're like, yeah, man, he gets it. And then like they show it to their friend. They're like, hey, dude, you heard the code? He's like, fucking awesome, dude. And then like their friend hears and they're like, he's just calling you like a fucking retard for like 3 hours. Nah, dude, you don't get it. Nah, man, you don't get it. He's real. Hey, man, I think you have a self-esteem issue. It's like, nah, man, you don't fucking understand. You don't get me, bro. All right, so I got to rework this. Okay, so let me walk this script. Let me just first see what's going on. Okay. Okay. So then what are these components? Score object. Okay, element content is what I want. All right, cool. So content density scores. I don't really need that. So here's how this works. So I wrote this a little while ago for another project, but this is what I'm doing here. So I have this way. This is how I determine components on a page. I kind of showed how this worked on the auto front end video. I don't have to I'll show you what this looks like in the end in a sec. But right now it doesn't really matter. But how this works is I have this idea of content density where I essentially go through every single element on a page. Let's use this GitHub page as an example. And I check these elements, and I do this recursively through every element on the page. I check all the children. It's actually kind of quick, I'll be honest. I know it doesn't sound quick, but I check all the children, and I see if each child, like these are probably all separate children, is content or not. And if it is content, I add the score, and then those scores will bubble up as you go back up the tree. And then once I go up, like when does that happen? Yeah, once I do the content density recursively for every element, I get the scores of every child. And then if the score is high for the greater element, then it's relatively high. Then I will say that is a component. So like, for instance, this would be a very high component here. This would be like highly scored. This would not be. Like this whole box here would be highly scored. This name would not be, right? But there's a caveat because I'm getting all these sub content things, but it's like I also get the whole page, which is a problem, right? And I get very large components, which, let's see, I forgot how I dealt with that. How did I deal with that? Score. Yeah, the text, there's a log around the text because like I don't want an article with a ton of text to be more of a component. It's something that has like a small amount of text. Yeah, I actually don't think I deal with the there's something I do here. Yep, this is what I do. So I get the parent depth. So as I keep going down, how far deep the element is. So I don't know the best way to explain this, but if you have an element that has like 5 direct children that are pieces of content, that'll be higher than if it had children 2 degrees down, 5 children 2 degrees down that have content. So that's how I get around. It's actually kind of smart. Good job, Jared. And then I have this deranking thing or whatever. All right. What are components in this? So let me show you what the components wind up looking like in the end. I'm going to add a visual to this because I know I'm just like explaining it and no one likes that. So let me go to the component. It's like on the HTML page. But let me show you, where is it? Yeah, so these are screenshots. So this, for instance, this is a component on some random site. This is when I ran it some other time. Oh, this is really big. This is another component on some site. This is a component, but this is like a low scored component probably. So I should probably get rid of that. This is a component. This is an awesome component. This is like a card, right? So this is like a title, an author, views. This is a component. This was highly rated like the other one. So this one, it actually, you got this part as a component and this whole thing as a component. Because even though these are more components deep, and that'll get deranked a little, it has this video here, or this thumbnail. That's like shitty, but this is a component. This is a component. This is a component. Okay, you get it. You get it. So that's what I'm doing here. So that's what I'm scraping. Is I'm scraping these components, and I have this algorithm to get the components, and that's what the features are in this data set. Here we're just getting components. That's all I care about. So I can get this found components, and I'm going to return. There's gonna be like full body tags in some of this. So, oh yeah, oh, you know what? He has an arbitrary score. So I found 0.2 was a good score. I gotta relook at this. So I have like a random threshold in the scoring, which, hey man, that's typically how algorithms work in production. Sorry to burst your bubble for anyone listening, but that's typically how. You might be surprised how many algorithms like are like information-based algorithms that fuel your internet experience that are literally just like it's like, hey, score this thing. What's the right score? 4. I don't know. Okay, so this is slicing the content. I don't want to do that. I want to get all the content. Okay, because this is for something else. So that's why I have like node ID. So I have to adapt this to what I'm doing now. I want to get the whole HTML of the element. and I have this in this element content thing. I'm going to map it in the end. And this is going to be this. I'm not going to actually return this. Hold on. So this is why we use classes. So I'm going to get on the class that I'm using this function in. I have put this function on a class where it's like this, whatever, this dot, this callback. So in the callback, I can use this, and I can say data set, and I can push. Actually, I can do this. Oh, concat. And then I'll concat with, let's do this inline. I don't want to, might be a lot of data. Now I'm adding this to the end of the data set. And I'm actually going to write to a file right here. I'm going to write to a file the ongoing data set. And the reason why, so whenever you're doing a web crawler, I highly suggest continuously writing to a file. Trust me. If you're trying to scrape a data set, you're making a web crawler. Highly suggest you just fucking do that. Just do it. Trust me. Don't just wait until your crawler might never end. No, it's intuitive though. It's intuitive. You'll figure that out. Obviously, I'm not, I'm not like blowing people's mind here. Anyway, so let's look at the Bun.file IO. How do you write to a file? Getting back to the basics. Okay. Let's see, file. Let's see, writing files. Nice. So actually, what we should do is we should load the current dataset file. And this will be, I think, I call it components.json. So remember before we learned, we can use this in order to get the current thing or the current directory. You can use this import metadata thing, and I'm going to go /data/components JSON. This is the current data set file. And then I need to convert it to, so I want to see do they have a built-in JSON parse? If they do, good job, bud. Good fucking job. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah. Oh wait, no, they have it. .json. Nice. It's a promise. Nice. Wait, hold on. This is current data set. Oh, dude. Good job. You actually did it. By the way, that's what actually makes me happy. It's not even complicated. It's not even complicated. It's like, that's the simplest thing. This right here. You just read the file stream as JSON in a promise. It's built in. It's the simplest thing. It's not even like, but you understand, I do this so much. Like I do the file processing shit so much in Node that that's a big deal for me. All right, so now we loaded the current data set, and you know what? We don't need to have data sets saved in the class, obviously. I can concat, I can do this, make this a let so I can update it, and I can do this concat. So what I'm doing, and then I could save the file. So I could say bun.write and this. Just take this as a variable. So I can say data set path. You should probably put this in like a function, by the way. But rewrite the data set, but I gotta see if I can how to write JSON files, like if that's a problem here. Yeah, let's see, right. So it looks like you can pass in a string, blob, array buffer, typed array, response. So I don't think I can pass in a JSON object. So I do have to do this. It's fine. It's fine. Actually, you know what? Does Bun have a JSON stringify thing that's like easier? I know JSON stringify is not. Oh, you know what? The JSON stringify is faster, but it's still just the normal JavaScript because JSON is a JavaScript API. This JSON in all caps, so that's all good. We don't have to fucking hyper optimize this to the point of insanity. Okay, so let's say console log data set written saved. Actually, let's be more specific. I'm gonna be like, I want to say the amount of items. So as I'm scraping, I want to be like, I'm gonna say new or components save or components save data set. Doing this. And have some new lines. Just to make it pretty for us. Get very pretty. So a couple issues. Well, it's not an issue, but I need to do one more thing. I need to get the hrefs. So that's all the processing that I need to do on the page. I get the components, I save it to a file. That's a side effect to this. So like that's not really happening in our IO. But like, you know, so side effects are sort of like, okay, never mind about my question. Apparently my implementation isn't that bad. I made a KD tree and didn't know it. What's a KD tree? Oh, it's average log n. Nice. What's a KD tree? Log n's good. I need to stretch. Did leg day today. Okay. I think we're good. I think. Let's see. Whoa, what just happened? Oh, I thought I exited out of this. Gotta check out going to football games so I can touch grass. Go touch some grass. Nitro Python. Oh, Nitro, are we in the same? I'm guessing we're in the same time zone, man. Watch them. Go watch them boys. I don't know your team. All right. So yeah, I don't know why I thought the semicolon, it was forcing semicolons. I was being a baby about it. I'll be honest. All right, cool. So we're almost done though with the web. Oh yeah, we need to get the hrefs. Okay. So I'm making it so I return hrefs in here. I don't actually want to do that anymore. Because I want this to be an abstract web crawler class that I can use for anything. And the way it works, and I actually don't need this data set thing anymore. The way it works is like I have logic around the web crawler, and then I just do shit in my function. Like this is a cool web crawler class. Like this is something where you just do this. Like you just pass in whatever callback you want to do stuff with. I have like a little config with I say pass in the seeds file. And then this callback will run on every page it goes to. It's a binary tree for vector search. Oh, nice. Oh, you were saying the actual search. You weren't saying the. Oh, I thought you were saying like the nearest neighbors. Oh, dude, I thought you were saying nearest neighbors for the comparison. You meant for like finding the for like because well, what's interesting though. Oh, look up what's that company? Um, Pinecone. Pinecone has a actually really good overview of some interesting algorithms they use and their methods for grouping a lot of the because for the bigger and bigger your vector search gets, the harder it is to just do like a regular search because it's like how do you this is where a lot of passage retrieval started getting developed with like RAG and DPR and all that stuff. It's because Facebook was like, how do we do vector searches for like a trillion fucking things? And they have a really good way of kind of like isolating, segmenting different sections, and they'll have a separate index that indexes which at the very basic level, see it as you have another vector query item, I mean key item that represents different sections based on like some sort of metadata that you care about or some sort of something. It's like maybe you have an index on your vector DB that's like this is the topic index. And then you can search on the topic index and then do your query search. So you're only really doing your query search on everything in the that match the topic index. Spotify has a good one called ANNOI. Oh, nice. But I don't want to implement it a little above my pay grade. ANNOI. I gotta look that up. ANNOI. Gotta remember that. You say Shopify or Spotify? Spotify. Yeah, Spotify is good engineering. I mean, I don't know if they do anymore. I remember they used to. I saw some like PR video of Spotify and I was like, so everyone just has like, is everyone like non-binary there? That's how they made it seem like in the video. Like, so everyone just has colored hair here and like, that's everyone, What are the odds? But hey, they might be good engineers though. I mean, obviously I doubt it, but I'm just saying. Okay. I have to say that because I have to be nice, obviously. Being nice is what really matters. What if I was like, if all of a sudden I started streaming like that and like saying stuff like that, and then like people are like, Jared, what happened to you? I'm like, no, we have to like we have to think globally. I'm like, we have to think globally. Like every stream, we have to act and think globally. Every stream, and people are like, what, like literally, what happened? Like they're like, are you okay? And uh, I'm like, do you consent? Like I just say, I'm like, the narrative is good. Like every single thing I say is like, I'm just like, fucking like, I'm consent bot. I'm narrative bot. That'll be fucking hilarious. Like just one stream, I just completely changed personalities. And I'm like, do you want to sign up for Ukraine? I'm like, if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black. What do you think of all the gender stuff? What do you think, Solo Trail? I think men and women are two different things, and you can't change your gender, obviously. That's yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm not about the whole. Yeah, it's not fluid, obviously. Hopefully, the West figures that out before all the debt runs out, or all the before the debt destroys us. It's such a religion, dude. We exchanged God for our identity. Now your identity is your God, and we pray to the most oppressed identity. Who is the most? It's the oppression Olympics. That's what friends and I would call it. All right, let's do it's the last part of the web crawler. I know as someone who left one. Yeah, well, what religion you leave? By the way, am I saying solo trail? For some reason, I thought it was sallow trail. What religion did you leave? Yeah, it's so funny. It's like, did you? Whenever I see someone have, this is real. Dude. This is so real, and this is something that's so funny to talk about because I'll be like, it's honestly embarrassing to like talk. Oh, Islam. It's funny. It's like embarrassing having to like talk to people who like are like this. But when I see someone's if you're watching this and this is you, all good. I'm not trying to start shit or anything. I'm just saying I just have to be honest, okay? Because lies get you killed. Whenever I see someone have the he, him, he, her pronouns in their name, like on LinkedIn, I lose so much respect for you. Like especially if you're a guy, I lose so much respect for you. I'm like, really? You couldn't say no once? Like, it's like you can't. It's like a critical thinking test. It's like you couldn't think that one through. Let's see. It's like, if you do that, oh, this is it. This is the hrefs. Nice. But it's like, if you do that, like it doesn't like, it's not gonna like end well. Just being real, like that's not that never end. Like you like in society, if you have to like, because people be like, oh, to engage in a commerce, I had to play ball. Oh well, yeah, my job said like I had to say he, him on my fucking. I'd use my pronoun. It's like so you had to identify yourself to engage in commerce, or you had to socially identify yourself based on your like identity or your like genes. And people may not think it's that big of a deal, but it's like that's not like think 20 years ahead. Do you want a society where like to virtue signal to other people, you have to say like what you are? Like you have to say you're like it's like, hi, like when I introduce myself to people, I'm like, hi, I'm Jared. I'm Hi, I'm Jared. I am a black straight male, and that's every fucking time you talk to somebody. It's like expected. On, but got this. It's like think it through. Oh, I did not. Gotta do this. I do this. I get it, dude. I get it. It's hard to say no, but you got to. Okay. Return. This is return true. Doesn't matter. This page evaluate. Oh, because it's not async. I did that earlier in the stream. Here we go. Okay, we're crawling. Let's see. Okay, we know we're done if we have a data set. If our component's JSON. Can't find such a silly error. Such a silly error. Look at me. Me making these silly errors. Look at me. Okay. Let's see. It's say let. Kind of weird. Did I say let here? Kind of weird. crawling, we're crawling. Or href, can't bind variable href. Oh, so they like really care about let and const here. They really care about that. Let's see. Hi, I'm a he, him. You're a retard. Nice. We're crawling. And we got a data set. Beautiful. Okay, so now I gotta remove these data things. So now we did the first part. We built the web crawler. So next video, well, I'm wrapping this one up. So we're not done yet, but next video, I'm gonna build out. Yeah, we don't have to do this part. Next video, so now I have the first part. So let's go back to the beginning of the video. So I want to have this happen. I want to have the dream. Okay. I want to be able to fetch from the URL, get articles, get comments. I want to be able to semantically scrape websites with these generic types. And I want to be able to use logic around this and move this around different things and all that. Like I want to say get author profile, get most positive. For each comment here, get the author, and then go to like a relevant, Twitter domain for that or whatever. That's a little more complicated. So in order to do this, I need to add structure to the web. So for what I'm doing now is I found a way to scrape components. Where's my scraper? Where's my other thing? Did I put that away? Let me reopen it. But I have this algorithm to fetch components. And in the end, I get components for taking a while. But I get these little blocks on the page for each component. Like it might be a card, it might be a thumbnail, it might be a button, yada, yada, yada. I'm saying components here. So these are like components, right? And I may have to clean these up a little. These are components. And this one worked well. This is a component. That's a component. This is a component. This is like some random document. But anyway, that's a component. So I'm getting those. Next, we're going to create the embedding. So we're going to find an LLM to encode all of those components. So get the vector representation of it. I'll have to find an LLM that works. Okay. And then we're going to sell it to Google. No, I'm kidding. But so after we do that, we're going to cluster all of the vectors, and we're going to label each of them with probably a more powerful LLM. Right? We might use OpenAI. I don't know. No, we'll use a better one. We'll use something better than OpenAI. Okay. But we'll use something that we can label each of the clusters intelligently, so we can actually label this cluster comments. We can label this thing news articles. We can label yada yada yada. So after that, we'll be able to. We have to do the other part of it, so that's building the model. After that, we have to do the inference. So we have to make it so if you do use our API and enter in news.ycombinator.com, I can go to the page and give it structure and say, hey, label these comments on the page, label these. So you're detecting content on the page based on all that sentiment. All right, cool. All right. That's it. See you next time.